Welcome to Shop Talk Live. I'm Carolyn Schnare from Washington, D.C.
And I'm Dan Munford from the UK. Hello, Carolyn.
Dan, it's great to see you. We have such a great show today. We're going to be talking about one of the best global retailers, Reitan Convenience, and now they've won many awards for a variety of great things they've done. So we're going to talk about some of those today. And they're based out of Norway, where you just were, if I recall.
Yeah, I was in Norway last week. Sunnier than it was. It's sunnier than it is here in the UK today. And in fact, I was in one of their relatively new stores, 7-Eleven Market, in a very nice suburb of Oslo, and impressive store that kind of fills the gap between convenience and grocery. So yeah, that was quite a visit. Mainly focused on looking at EV, of course, but yeah, very interesting visit to that Reitan Convenience store.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never been to Norway, but I've been to Scandinavia. It's such a beautiful place this time of year.
It certainly is. Yeah.
And very bright, always bright. Sun's up all the time. So just today, I wanted to lay out our program a little bit. In the first part, we're going to hear a bit about Reitan Retail and Reitan Convenience as well. And in the second part, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into their newest store format, which is PBX stores, and their sustainability strategy. And we're going to be joined by Mariette Kristenson, who's the CEO of Reitan Convenience, and later Malin Eklund, who is the sustainability director for Reitan Convenience as well. First, I'd like to invite Mariette to join us on camera.
Hi.
Hi, it's great to see you and talk to you again. How are you?
Good, nice to see you as well. It's just fine. I'm so happy to hear that you enjoy Scandinavia and the 7-Eleven Market.
Yeah, well, it's one of my favorite places to go, Oslo and Norway particularly, but in Oslo, obviously this time of year, it's beautiful, isn't it? The lovely sunny days. And yeah, it felt like going back to summer last week. So I really enjoyed it. You're
always welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Mariette, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about Reitan to get us started?
Well, sure. So my name is Mariette. I'm the leader for Reitan Convenience that I'll get back to a little bit later, but we are obviously focused on convenience in the Nordic and Baltic markets. And then I'm also part of Reitan Retail and the company that is one of the leading companies within grocery and convenience and mobility within Scandinavia. So it's exciting days for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big business, isn't it? Across the Nordics and Scandinavia. That's the Reitan Retail business overall.
Yeah, we have a market of 7 countries, and convenience is in all the 7 markets. And then we have Rema 1000, that is the leading brand for grocery in Norway and in Denmark. And then we also have the mobility part in Norway and Denmark with the gas stations and electrified stations as well, and car wash and so on. So it's a diverse business, but it's a family business that has become quite big over the years. And together we make up Reitan Retail, that is a beautiful company that aims to do the world a little bit better and give the customer a little better day every day. And we have a great, proud history as well.
You do, yeah. And these are the founders. I've seen that picture.
Yeah, these are the founders. The picture before was about Narvesen, that is the most famous, together with Pressbyrån in Sweden, the most famous kiosk brands that have their roots back to the 18th century. And it was in not this millennium shift, but the last one they were founded. And we've been around for 128 and 127 years with Narvesen and Pressbyrån. But then again, we have the founders of the Rema 1000 and Reitan Retail, and this is Odd Reitan, our founder's parents, and they opened the first grocery store in Nonnegata in Trondheim in 1948. And this is where the adventure of Reitan Group started. So we have a long and proud history for almost all of our brands, and we really try to build and be humble about that history and build upon the big values that are there.
I was outside one of your oldest kiosks last week, which is at just by the Grand Hotel, and I think it's the one which was used. All the members of the Parliament used to buy their newspapers there. That's what.
That is true. You have read your history. Yeah, it's a beautiful little kiosk at Karl Johan, and we renovated it. And it's really, I mean, it's a great history, and it's also a part of the history, what has happened during the years. In Sweden, we even have a Pressbyrån museum with all the history from the First and Second World War and the industrialization and everything. So it's truly impressive, and we try to look back and take with us the big innovations that's been done during the years, and take that forward to be both humble but also very proud, and have courage in what we do going forward.
What about the transition? The big question, of course, is how the business transitioned from being a Norway business to an international business. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, as you can see on this picture, Rema was, as I said, the foundation, and it started in the 79, the first Rema. But then we kept on with Rema in Norway and started with Rema in Denmark in 1995. Then in 2000, Narvesen was acquired, and Pressbyrån, and also 7-Eleven. And then we became more and more international during these years. And in 2012, we bought R-kioski in Finland and the kiosks in the Baltics. So we have become truly international. And as you see now, it's a major part of the sales that is actually also from outside Norway. So now we are a truly international company on 7 markets.
You are. Can we look a little bit more into the numbers in terms of that's just to figure out the scale of the business.
Yeah, so today in Reitan Retail we have 3,850 outlets, and we are 42,000 people working in the system. So that is quite amazing. And we have 1.9 million transactions. We like to call it customers, but you know how it is to define a customer today. But we have 9.5 million sales every day. So it's become a fantastic big business. But beyond the numbers, what we focus mostly on actually is our strong culture and our values and the leadership behind all the numbers. So we are proud of all our brands, as you can see on the bottom of this page. There is a wide variety, but it's all about giving the customer a better day.
Yeah, and I guess, in order to survive as a business and to flourish as you have, being a values-based business and changing as your customer changes has been vital to your success, I guess, Mariette.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things going on during the years. And as you said, I mean, it's everything from the changes in the way people live, the way people move themselves, and the way people eat, drink, and socialize. So it's been a fantastic journey, and we are never done. We are just figuring out where to do our next move and how to make the day better for the customers. So it's always exciting.
Very good. Now that's Reitan Retail, just to give us an idea of the scale of the business. And not everyone who watches this internationally will have been familiar with the different brands and the different markets that you're in. But perhaps we could, really focus in on Reitan Convenience. You're CEO of Reitan Convenience, Mariette.
Sure. So Reitan Convenience is one of these 4 business units in Reitan Retail, and we are the leading convenience chain in the Nordic and the Baltics, and really have big convenience markets in 7 countries. And we are very, very proud of all of our brands. We have both global brands like 7-Eleven, and then we have local heritage brands like Pressbyrån, Narvesen, R-kioski, and so on. And today we have 2,000 stores and about 1 million customers a day. And what we say is, again, that we want to do everything to make the customers lives a little bit better every day and a little bit easier. So we try to be there around the clock for everyone.
And what about the customer proposition in terms of how to appeal to those customers?
Yeah, so I can start with, we usually share it into 3 parts. So the first one is to be the most convenient in the way that you can find us anywhere, wherever, or whenever you need something. And we have locations in whether AAA locations where people are on the go. We have travel locations, city center, gas stations, and so on. And we have a big customer flow around our stores. And then we also have extended opening hours, and almost all of our 7-Eleven stores are open 24/7, and the kiosks also have extended hours. So we try to be there when the customer needs us. Then also, we always want to be relevant and have sustainable offerings for the customer. And for us today, this means to be focused on the out-of-home consumption. It's mainly about food and snacking on the go, about baked goods and hot and cold drinks. So, and that's where we grow the most, right? So we do focus on that, and then try to do it in the most possible sustainable way, and with a high quality and great value for money for the customer. And then, of course, we focus on our brands and try to take the lead in all the countries. So as of 2019, which was the last normal year for us, we're getting back there, but before COVID hit us, then we had the leading market position in all the countries except Denmark, where we were number 2.
It's a very strong position, isn't it? I think, you know, it's obviously that's a really big fact for everybody to take in, you know, that you are market leaders in all the markets bar Denmark that you operate in.
Yeah, we are proud of that, and also very humble. I mean, then we are going to talk about sustainability, for example, later, and then, I mean, we see that we have to be in the lead here and take responsibility for what is happening within convenience. What do we do, and what is the next step for both society and the customer? So it is. We never take anything for granted, but focus on the development and the next step to make the world a little bit better, and giving the customer something they really need that's relevant for them.
And I guess that's, sorry, Carolyn, and I guess that's evolved, you know, as over the years, hasn't it? You've had to change. You've had to change to keep pace with the values of your customers and the societies that you operate in, and that's so I guess in a way change is a constant. But over to you, Carolyn.
Oh, no, I was going to say that's a beautiful story, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, and your beautiful segue into the next part too, where I'd like to bring Malin Eklund on as well, if you'd like to join us. Malin is the Sustainability Director for Reitan Convenience. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
No, thank you for joining us today.
So Malin, last time I saw you were on a stage. It was at a NACS Convenience Summit Europe event in Berlin. Here you are.
Yeah, that was a wonderful evening, wasn't it?
It was. Now, obviously, the point of the picture is to show the NACS event, of course, but it was to mark the photo marks you winning Reitan Convenience Sweden winning the NACS European Convenience Sustainability Award. Which I think you were pretty happy about that, weren't you?
Yeah, happy and proud, and as Mariette said, humble.
So, and congratulations and well done. A lot of interest, obviously, in that after you've won the award, and also the work that you're doing in this area. So, let me ask, you know, the blunt question of Mariette. You know, why did you win the award? What was the secret to winning the award this year?
Well, I think it's mainly because it is a wholehearted attempt to really tackle these huge sustainability challenges that our industry has in front of us, and the ambition is big as well. It's nothing less than to create the world's most sustainable convenience store. And really, it's not for show, it's not paperwork or something behind the desk, but we're trying to do it for real, and to make it tangible for both the customer, people who work for us, and our partners.
Yeah, I just want to add, that's so true, Mariette, because what we did was we questioned everything we do, from how we built the store with the much more sustainable and recyclable materials, to the whole concept, and down to the uniforms of the sales personnel, which, by the way, are made of leftover fabrics. But most importantly, I think the realness, if you say so, of PBX shows through what we sell in the store. We believe that sustainability has to be convenient for our customers, and that's why we have evaluated every single product down to its sourcing of the individual ingredients. So that's quite a big work that has been done.
Oh, for sure. So what really, you said a little bit, tell us more what led you to develop PBX. So what was the main reason? It's a very ambitious project, but, and I guess I should say in the middle of a pandemic as well.
Well, that's a really relevant question. And I think the simple answer to the first question is that we are stretching our planet to its limits, and we're about to cross every planetary boundaries there is. And as simple as that is, nobody can sell coffee on the dead planet. And
this is I just have to say, this stopped me in my tracks when I saw this earlier. So I didn't mean to jump in, but what a statement.
Yeah, but it's really true, and it's really important, because I mean the sustainability challenges that we are facing today, they are so profound that I think that all businesses must change, and both to be able to face the new sustainability risks that are coming up, but also to continue delivering value for the society and our customers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this need for transformation was led us to develop our sustainability strategy. And our sustainability strategy consists of a wide range of themes, all from sourcing risk commodities to climate, waste, health issues, all the way to how we can actually be part of building a more open and inclusive society. So when we were faced by this challenge of going from a strategy to action, we decided to build PBX, our living lab. And the intention with that was that PBX will help us transform the rest of our business over time. Do you want to add something, Mariette?
I can just say I agree with everything you said, Malin, and the fact that we decided to keep on going throughout the pandemic, which was a really hard time for us, that was crucial for our business. And I mean, we have to keep innovating and learning how to do things in the future of convenience. There is no time to wait and no planet B, and we are proud that we used the time in between to focus on this area. And then I could add that we really, really believe that the sustainability shift will impact everyone, but that the early movers will have a huge advantage. And then I also think that there will be big changes, not only for us in Reitan Convenience, but for the whole business, for convenience, groceries, and so on. I mean, the commodity sourcing, how we build brands, how we want to be associated with values for the next generation, both of customers and co-workers, is essential. And I really think here we are stronger if everyone in the business moved together in this area and not only a couple of brands. So that's really something I hope for.
Yeah, that's incredibly important. And this is a very impactful slide, just all the components that you've put a lot of thought into this. So Besides what you're doing with PBX and Reitan Convenience in Sweden, has the sustainability strategy had any effect on the rest of the organization?
Yeah, very much so. We started the development, as you said, Carolyn, in Sweden a couple of years ago, and then we built the strategy with this umbrella, as you see here. But we have worked really hard the last couple of years to add on all our markets, the 7 countries, and launched a new strategy and flagship projects in all the companies. So what we want to do is to redefine the industry to make convenience sustainable and sustainability convenience. And as I said, we have some flagship projects, and at the time, they are to reduce waste, to focus on the planetary health diets, which is about improving both environment and people's health through better eating. And then we have also importance on local heroes, which is about the role that we and our franchisees want to play in the local communities that we are a part of. And when we get all the 7 countries to make an effort on these teams, we think that they will have a substantial positive impact. And we are just happy the more companies that add on this. And we think it will have a positive impact on the system as a whole, for example, influencing suppliers and so on, but also in terms of being able to make ourselves heard and seen.
I could just jump in on that, Carolyn, just to say, I guess, you know, Scandinavia and the Nordics is probably the most focused part of the world in terms of sustainability objectives, isn't it? And so in a sense, you know, you have the perfect, you know, you have the perfect sort of market, don't you, position in the global industry to have an impact on other retailers globally through what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has a perfect, we should have come longer, all of us, but I do believe we have a great dialogue with our suppliers, and that no one can succeed alone, neither the suppliers or us, but we really need each other and work close on this. And they have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of knowledge, and together we get new experiences, the knowledge, and find out ways of working. So I don't see this as a competition. It's a co-work, really, and that's we are all winners when we succeed.
Absolutely.
So Malin, what are the next steps for Reitan Convenience and in your sustainability journey?
Well, we have a lot of things to do, and I think to start with, we are working to set concrete local roadmaps with country-specific targets for each country to ensure that the pace of change is ambitious enough and also not impossible given the local markets and circumstances and so on. And also we are very occupied with securing multidimensional sustainability data for our full assortment, because the goal is to integrate our sustainability KPIs in our regular economic progress tracking, because in that way we can become data-driven, if you know what I mean, and develop some quite sophisticated hypotheses of how to make the transition towards a prosperous and sustainable and healthy convenience assortment. And the third thing that I think is really important is building capacity. We know that taking on a massive and complex issue as sustainability, that requires new skills in the whole organization. And I believe that, as you said, Mariette, sustainability cannot be like a work from an individual or a small team. It must be like on everybody's mind. And also when in business decisions that we make, we have to have like a sort of a sustainability lens on everything we make. And that requires for people to take on their regular duties in a new way. And that is not a small shift that requires investments and building people's skills and competences in these areas. So we can say that we is on a journey. We have just started our journey, but we have a clear goal and direction and aspiring goals, I think.
It's certainly, well, it's ambitious to say the least, but extremely important. I mean, that we're all working together on this globally, and I'm on the almost other side of the world from you, but everything we do here, there, everywhere is great. And I love that your focus is on culture, because it's very important to have employees not only on board with it so that everybody's, the trains are all going in the same direction, if you will. But I think that's important to just get the buy-in across the board, across the entire organization.
But I guess it's a big objective, right? Critically important, but a big ask for your business, a big ask for, for the transition. And obviously a lot of retailers are coming up against this globally. Could I ask you, Mariette, what are the major challenges, but also opportunities that you see in terms of leading this sustainability journey, if I can call it that?
Yeah, there are several hindrances that we need to get ahead of, and one of the challenges that we see is that we need to find new ways of communicating with our customers to really accelerate the demand for sustainable convenience. And there is demand for better and healthier food of snack, but there is still a tendency of people not really thinking, but just grabbing something when they are on the go. And we want them to really take a choice, if you know what I mean. And I think there are clever ways of communicating to make people crave sustainable convenience. And we have to make it easy for people to make better choices simply by making sustainability convenient. And this is necessary to speed up the shift, I would say. For an opportunity, we can tie our suppliers, as I was talking about earlier, even closer into our operations. And that motivates many of teaming up with suppliers, and there is a win-win if we do this. And for example, we have included in our code of conduct an expectation that all of our major suppliers should set their own ambitious climate targets. And it is so encouraging to see the activity that has followed this and how happy actually many of our suppliers have been when we are making explicit demands in this area. So as I said before, I think it takes many of us that work close together to succeed.
Well, it does create such a ripple effect, right, Dan? I mean, if you're requiring, maybe I guess is the right word, for a supplier or a vendor to create sustainable products, those same products, they're not going to do two lines of products. They're going to do one line of product that's going to be in your stores, but it's going to also be in your competitor stores, and eventually it'll make its way around the world. So you're making a huge impact by doing that. And you and other retailers that do have vendor plans like that, because it's making people slowly change, but it will, like I said, have a ripple effect. And I applaud that.
Yeah, thank you. That's what we hope for.
One of the things that really sort of stands out from what you've just said in this presentation, Mariette and Malin, is obviously to make sustainability convenient, which is the critical thing. I mean, everything in our stores, in our industry, has to be convenient or it's not going to work, so sustainability has to fall into that category too, doesn't it? So I think that's a really good thought. And the other thing that really stood out to me was the challenge of finding new ways to communicate to your customers as well. Because again, that's a challenge, isn't it? We're targeting busy people. By definition, busy people haven't got a lot of time to think. They're on autopilot. They're not in the store very long, and they make quick decisions, often on the basis of habit. So I think, again, Carolyn, do you agree? That I think they put their finger on one of the key challenges for our industry, which is, is how to communicate sustainability much more effectively than perhaps has been the case so far.
Right. And I mean, one of the things the industry sells is time, and we sell time back to people. So we make it convenient, but I think we're certainly selling more time on our planet, because like you said, there's no planet B. I love that.
So it's transformational, I guess. How much time do you think it's going to take to to I guess change the way the business is perceived by your customers? I mean, I have to say you probably have a pretty good sustainability record as it is, but this is much more transformational than that, isn't it?
It is. You can answer as well, Malin. But as we see a change every month, every year, which is positive, but we want it to accelerate, right? So, but then we have ambitious goal and a strategy that is really core with the goals for each year on how to get there for 2025, 2030, and so on. Do you want to add some information on that, Malin?
But the roadmap is, of course, helping to keep the pace up. But then I think that Mariette was saying that we need to create the demand for sustainable convenience. And you can just watch for like a couple of few years ago, who wanted oat milk or who wanted plant-based hamburgers. And now they created very smartly a demand for those products. And I think that is what we have to do also. And I also want to add, Mariette, as you were saying that the thing, one challenge is that it is too slow, the pace, when we know that we need to be, much faster. 2030 is like a year that we have to keep track of. But then again, we are trying to change the root causes of the problems, just not doing some band-aid or just scratching the surface. So that will take time in the beginning to then accelerate. So we need to work in many different angles on this.
Well, this is fascinating. And Dan, I appreciate just even having this topic. I think it's very important. And I know those listening and watching will certainly appreciate, and maybe we can spur some change throughout the entire planet too, and make it a great place.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I just one other point I was going to throw in around the other big challenge, talking to CEOs, about the challenges in their business all around the world, in America too, Carolyn, is labor. How do you motivate, almost thinking about post-COVID, the Great Resignation, a book that somebody wrote about the challenge of finding people now who want to work for your business. And, it seems to me, just looking at what you've presented, this is a Reitan Convenience is a business that's adapted through the years, and you've changed and tried to stay ahead of your customers, just a little bit ahead of them. So, but not too far, so that you're giving them what they're about to need, and I guess one of the big challenges has to be around not just your customers, but about your team, your people, your colleagues, and inspiring them to want to work in your business. Surely that's a really, really important facet of this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really true. And we are working with that employer branding and employer engagement in our company, and have done so for a couple of years, or for many years. But I just had one example last week. I was together with a country manager in Estonia, and if we think we have a hard labor market here in the Nordics, it's nothing compared to the Baltic countries. And she said that the best competitive advantage they have finding new important employees, it's to show this value package with our sustainability strategy, and that people actually, even if they don't get the highest wage or salary, they choose to work with us because they believe so much in this. And that is, that's what you hear of and what the theory says, right? But here she could actually show important cases, and they've had a tough time in the Baltics. So that was really encouraging.
Because I guess if you don't create a business with purpose and you really struggle to recruit people, then you have to invest massively in more and more automation, don't you? That's your strategy, and then you don't have some of the benefits of interaction with your customers, which obviously is again a really good strategy in convenience, isn't it?
Yeah. Malin, do you want to add?
No, but what I can say is that I mean, this people purpose could both be a risk. I think it's a risk for many organizations, but I think the flip side of risk is opportunity. And for us, I think really believe that this is an opportunity. We have our strong values and we have our sustainability strategy. I mean, that is actually really the answer to the people purpose risk.
Absolutely. Carolyn, should we have a look at some of the photos of the PBX store? Because you know, it's great to see, you know, where the plan hits the road, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So when did the store, there's one PBX branded store, and how long has it been open, guys?
It's been open almost for a year now.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
Oh, cool. That's beautiful.
It does look, I mean, just go back a slide, maybe. It does look a little bit different, doesn't it, to what we typically see in convenience stores. I mean, I guess it's just it feels much more of a community store. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think you're right there, and I think here is really, we made everything convenient for the customer, because we have already done all the picking out the groceries and products that are really the most sustainable on the market. So I think it's,
you don't really
love
see it
this
in
store.
the pictures here, but it's a lot of communication in the store about the choices and the work we have made to make it easy for the customer and convenient. So and then also the way for us, convenience that is sustainable is not only about the product. So we've taken it through the way we built the store. I mean, construction is a huge thing in the sustainability going forward. So we have built with other materials. We use different sources of energy. The clothing that the people work there is from recycled products and so on. So it's what you see on the pictures, but it also is what is really, really behind it in all the details, which is, I mean, we've had a co-work with the many external people who have really deep know-how in this area. So we teamed up with the best people there are. So it's not only what we have done or what we have learned, but it's a jointly effort to get here.
And I assume coffee, that's coffee. I'm going to guess. And then looking at the other products that we see on the screen here, they're probably like consumer product goods. So things for people, and maybe vitamins and whatnot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm guessing it's a whole self, which is important too. You're really taking care of the whole self, therefore people and planet as well. I think that's, am I right? Is that what Rengor is?
No, Rengor is cleaning. So it's
okay.
sustainable cleaning tools. But you're right. We the products, there are so many things to the products. It's not like there's no palm oil. Only that demand is kind of hard to get any products, because almost everything contains palm oil, even cleaning products. And then there is like add-on subjects. We call it numbers that are excluded, and all different color to the food that is excluded, and so on. So we thought about everything. Where is the product from? Is it from a problematic country, or is it a risk commodity? Like then we have had extra pressure on the suppliers to actually give us something more sustainable.
Well, it's all pretty exciting. I mean, I don't know whether you'd make this connection, Mariette, but I mean, I've been particularly impressed with what you've done in food, in the Danish market, for instance, in 7-Eleven, of course, in other markets as well, but particularly the Danish market. And in a way, if you put that development and that huge commercial success you've had with, your new innovations there, and particularly in new product development in food, I feel it's a massive focus. I think global industry is massively interested in what you've been doing and your huge success in that. And if you put, which I've knocked my water over, never mind. If you put that together with the sustainability strategy across all the markets, and how you've got some long-term plans there in terms of changing the whole business and the whole way you do business, it's quite exciting, isn't it?
It is really exciting. And we say that PBX is our living lab in Reitan Convenience. So what we really want to do here is to push all the boundaries of how we do things and how we create great food products, for example. So we try to make them even fresher, even healthier, even more sustainable in the way they are moved with the logistics. I mean, if there is cacao beans in, they have to be able to be traced all the way to the field where they are grown, and so on. So, and then we put all of this together with a commercial. I mean, it still has to be commercial, and people have to buy it. Otherwise, it's no use. So taking all the knowledge we have here at the PBX and putting that into existing markets, like, for example, Denmark. And we already have products that we tried out here at PBX that we launched in all our stores. For example, we've had huge success with our it's hot sandwiches, you can say, filled with different types of vegetables and so on. And so it's a way of making our sustainability work faster, because if we are going to transform everything in our 2,000 stores at once, you know how slow it moves. Here we have one store where we can try and do failures very, very quick. And when we hit something that we see, this is good, this is really commercial driven, then we can just supply it to all our stores. And food is, of course, in the center of this.
And I completely understand now the concept of the living lab, in terms of it's almost a sustainability engine for your business, isn't it?
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, I keyed on that too. And I always get so hungry anytime I do these presentations. You show such great food. Well, this has been fabulous. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us and our audience as well, Dan. I learned a lot.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think we just need to reflect on some of the big conclusions you've reached, and then just see how we can apply them to other businesses and other markets. But I think you're onto something very big. And so congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us, Mariette and Malin. Really appreciate your time.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So,
Dan,
Carolyn,
that was amazing. That was great. I learned so much, and I pray that the rest of the world follows suit. I know a lot of retailers are doing a lot in sustainability, and a lot of leaders, and even some very small single store operators here in the United States who you've talked to before. And so we one day at a time, one thing at a time, and we will hopefully have somewhere to be. There is no planet B, right?
Yeah, and I think they just to sort of encapsulate some of the things that they're talking about. I think they're just approaching this in quite an innovative way, and I think it's just quite interesting how they're going about it. So I think this is a story that will go on some time. It's nice to be at the start of it, though, as ever, isn't it, Carol?
Sure is.
Great. Well, we were just going to mention a couple of things coming up before we close the program. Our next edition of Shop Talk Live will be recorded live in front of an audience. We want questions on this edition, which is why we're doing it this way. It will focus on the world's favorite stores. This is a report that has been put together by Scott, Dev, Sabine, Frank, and Christian, all good friends of ours who know a thing or two about the best convenience retail on the planet. It's got 101 contributions from what is really a who's who of retail leaders around the world. And it's just an amazing sort of tool, really, to see what's new, what's working, what's successful in terms of convenience stores and stores in retail in general around the world. So that's going to be interesting, Carolyn.
That's fascinating. Can't wait to see it.
And we're going to be seeing you soon in your hometown, aren't we?
Oh, there's me. Yes, you're coming. I'm so excited. Welcome. I'm excited to have you and all the leaders that are coming over for the Market Focus tour here in Washington in just a couple weeks. So I'm hoping we'll get some summer-like weather for you, and we'll make it stop raining.
Well, if it's not sunny in Washington, I think it probably is more likely it'd be sunny in Las Vegas, which is the NACS show, our next destination once we get through Washington. So see you soon, Carolyn.
See you soon, Dan, and thank you all for joining us today on Shop Talk Live.
Thank you.